Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Philosophy Channel. Today we will study two concepts, namely indication and abstraction. Without further ado, let us dive right into the matter, nose first. We are all familiar with the notion of indicating. When we ask somebody for the way, they will indicate us how to get to our destination. But there are also different uses of this word. For example, when in school somebody knows the answer to the teacher's question, they will raise their finger to indicate that they wish to reply to the question. Let us now look at abstraction. To reduce the matter as much as possible. When we abstract, we eschew studying nuances in order to arrive at a certain intended meaning. We could marvel for countless hours at the ways in which the black space, the white space, and the color blur dance to form shapes with our eyes. But in order to extract from this visual array a meaningful unit of sense, you abstract towards the word abstraction. Now the real fun begins. Let us put together the two, indication and abstraction. We see that when we abstract from the visual clutter in order to reach a meaningful expression, we indicate that we have understood a certain sense. Ah, yes, now it makes sense. Similarly, every indication will have to abstract or omit certain features of the indicated. When somebody gives you directions, they will highlight certain aspects of the path which lies before you, and in doing so, they leave out features that just didn't make it into their description. So there's a certain movement at play here. We point to something, and while we do that, we abstract that to which we indicate into something meaningful. We abstract from something, and in doing so, indicate to ourselves that we have successfully grasped a unit of meaning. Allow me to illustrate this point. Here we see a bunch of letters. The font that you see is designed by Lisa Fischbach. With just a little bit of imagination, you can see here a hammer. When this happens, I indicate to you the hammer, and we abstract from the meaning of the letters in order for them to form the shape of a hammer. Now something else happens. I have transformed these shapes into an abstract image titled Caius Font, created by Luca Brennecke. We can now start playing with our perception of these forms. We see, for example, how the tone of each color changes sometimes to the warmer, sometimes to the cooler hue. This is meaningful, for it means nothing more than that the sense of these letters is context dependent. I will demonstrate this by showing you a sentence in which this becomes more obvious. The word itself, stessa, the same stessa grammatical proposition, is an ideal unity which does not multiply itself due to the fact of being reproduced thousands of times. Here we have a sentence from Edmund Husserl, which I had translated from Italian. Remember that when we looked at that which is abstract, we saw that the adjective turns effortlessly into a noun. We see this topic at work here. A word is always grammatically configured to fit with other words. And the ideal sense of this word does not multiply when used across contexts. The word itself, the same grammatical proposition, is an ideal unity which does not multiply itself due to the fact of being reproduced thousands of times. The word itself, the same grammatical proposition, is an ideal unity which does not multiply itself due to the fact of being reproduced thousands of times. Alright, now let us look at the stessa. She herself, lei stessa, sie selbst. What do we see when paying attention to the ways in which certain terms travel in different languages? The relationship of the self to the self is crucial here. For in Italian, when one says that one has done something all by oneself, one uses the same word for, well, the same. Same thing, stessa cosa, selbe Sache. In German, we find the same root of selbst, self, and same, selbe. So the same line of letters actually acquires different meanings according to its context. Let us take a look at one further example of how lines of words pick up different meanings as they pass different contexts. A tricky one. One asks, si prega, sie werden gebeten. One asks either oneself or someone else. But si prega in Italian also means one prays. We can translate the English one is kindly asked to into the German sie werden gebeten. And this is great because this simplifies that in Italian the same combination of words can both mean one is kindly asked to as well as one prays. It means that words can pick up different meaning in their context. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider supporting my channel.